What's up, everybody? A Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless with another episode on Empyrion, Galactic Survival. And you might notice, it's a bit dark. Well, I was actually experimenting today to try and figure out what some of the stuff in my base, or my acquired base, actually does. For example, this is a motion sensor that I couldn't figure out what it was attached to. And what I ended up noticing when I had my lights off was there are a couple of lights here, and those are actually the lights that were making the noise we kept hearing in the last episode. So for example, when you get up here, that's what I kept hearing, but it was in the day, so I never realized the lights were turning on and off. And that is tied into the motion sensor, which I'm assuming this corner one is the same way. Yep, if you get far enough away, it turns off. So it's a power-saving feature, I suppose. So that's kind of cool. I've never... Dagnabbit, I keep hitting the wrong buttons. I've never really worked with the logic stuff in this particular game. So basically, you have devices, and we have, like, a lever here and a motion sensor. Now, if you'll notice, when we went to motion sensor, we got a cool red outline, and when you go to interactive setup, you can actually see that this is the outline area, and you can enlarge or shrink with the numpads stuff. So if we do 8, I don't know what that does actually. I'm pushing buttons, I probably shouldn't be. So I'm trying to figure out if you can use the number pads by themselves or not. Or if it's restricted to the left control stuff. Okay. So shrink is left control and alt. Oh, I see. Okay. So basically, if you wanted to bring this in, you would hit left control and alt and then 2? Or 8. 8. And you could bring it in, and then you could hold control if you wanted it to go back out. So that's pretty cool, or I don't know how you get it to go up. Oh, I guess it's kind of, oh wait, there it is. So we're actually shrinking the floor part. That's what it was. Okay. Oops, wrong buttons. Still getting used to this. I've never worked with this stuff before, but yeah, that's... So 5 is your up and down, I guess? But it kind of feels backwards that control to enlarge... Oh, no, it's not. Never mind. I'm a dum-dum. But I don't know how to get it to go up. I guess it's contingent on where that's placed. And then you can hit escape to clear that. So I guess it's contingent on that. Like, if I put it up there, maybe it would be 2 blocks high then. And so on and so forth. Would be my guess. But then once that area is set up, I keep hitting the wrong button. You can go into signal logic and attach different things. So like, for instance, this is player home signal, and this is plants. So the lights are set to player home follow. Now toggle and on and off, all those do different things. Follow is like you go in, it turns on, you leave, it turns off, as the thing implied. Hence why the plant lights are on a switch, because you can actually just turn those on and leave them even when you leave the base. So all that's pretty cool. I like that. I just never really messed around with it all that much. So there's a couple things that I'd like to do in this episode. Oh, I have unlock points. I didn't remember doing that. So we have an elevator block. We have... Ooh, we can unlock a turret. Definitely want to do that. Hangar doors, probably a good idea. Shutter doors would probably be a good idea. Oh, I need to... Well, no, I guess I don't need a repair station because I turned that off. Tools and all that should be fine. Do I have lights anywhere unlocked? Yeah, light blocks. Okay, there we go. So we have lights and stuff. So I think this episode, I may take a break from trying to expand and explore and all this kind of stuff, and I may take a break and try and actually try and basic player spawner thin plate. That's interesting. But I may end up trying to actually do some base building today, I think. So we're going to work on that for a little bit. I'm going to try and reorganize, rebuild, repurpose, relayout, etc., and so on. Basically re-everything is kind of my idea. So with that in mind, I will be back momentarily. Okay, so good news and bad news. The good news is the reconstruction is going along, and it's making progress. The bad news is I got a fairly decent amount into this before realizing that I'd kind of built a fundamental flaw into the building structure. And actually this was all wood, but I realized I had like 100 cement, so I converted it all to concrete so that I could then have another 100 wood blocks. So the flaw here is this first floor would probably be fine. Other than, you know, 2 tall blocks. But as you can see, well, some of you eagle eye people will have already noticed what's going on. And that is that I've built this up here where you can kind of see the seam. And it goes down to meet this floor, which is fine. But then what I should have done is built the next floor. Actually, I don't even know if I can do it. Can I do it? Well, not with the wall, with the blocks there. But I need to have done... Okay, I'm just going to stop trying to explain it and actually just explain it. So, for example, let's get these 3 out of here. Yeah, that should be fine. So, where this is, you can see that these walls actually align with the bottom of this one, which means what I actually should have been doing is placing them in a manner similar to... Let me see if I can get this spun around right. Something like this. Because that would have still butted up with this, but then it would have sunk the floor down one on the next layer. And with that, I would have been able to build up here. Right now, I don't think I can. Because if you come up here, you will see that the floor hasn't actually changed really, but this is the top of the block. Or no, it hasn't changed because this one's in the way, actually. So this is where it should be in order for me to then place blocks, like this. So that was a bit of a blunder on my part. The other blunder that we've run into is I actually need to put these blocks that are at the edge. I need to do something fairly similar, such as this. And that way I can build a wall out on the outer edge, and once again, it won't cause any problems on the other side. So that's kind of a whoops on my part, really, that I didn't notice it a little sooner. This one may be fine. And like I said, I'm still getting used to... Actually, like I said, I didn't actually say this yet. I've said it before. But I'm still kind of getting used to the building mechanics. Not the, this is how you spin it and things, but like how you should actually think about building the structure in general. So that it ends up in a way that you can actually work with it. I think there's another layer here. Yeah, there is. So this is both kind of a good and bad situation because it allowed me to... Whoops. Oh, no, that's crap. It does 100 damage, but it only does 10 repair. Come on! And let's go ahead and drop all these on there. Because it does help me to learn when you're actually trying to build stuff, basically. I think like that. So that should work. But yeah, I'm still getting the hang of how to properly build stuff, basically. There's kind of the way you do it, and then there's the way you should do it kind of thing. Particularly certain things like these corners, for example. They're... Well, actually... Hold on. This is one block, is it not? Perhaps not. Dagnabbit, I'm so floaty. That's one thing I feel like they need to change, is the, when you land on something, you kind of bounce and float a little bit more than I feel like you should. But that's a me thing, I guess. Okay, yeah, that is one block, but it's facing the outer edge, so that shouldn't be a problem. But then that's an inner block. Yeah, okay. So this error of mine has kind of carried over a little bit here. But I need to figure out... Okay, what is that? That's concrete. Oh, wait, it's getting hung up on that. Is this all one block? I think it is. Oh, wait, maybe that's not. Well... Oh yeah, and that's one other thing I found out the hard way. I did that before, and if they fall, whatever breaks off does not actually carry over. So that kind of sucks. I don't know that there's actually an invert to what I want to do here. And what I mean by invert is like a, kind of like these, but going the other way. And I don't think there actually is one of those. There's pyramids and there's corners and stuff, but I don't think there's actually... an inverted corner one. I guess it's because they're thinking you just use the wall and lay it flat, but like then I run into situations like this. So here's my issue, is currently we've got this one going here, so I need to put either a flat wall, which will do that, and you continue around this way. Or I'd have to put a full corner there. But then you end up with this kind of stuff, where I can't really place a pillar, which I found out you can actually do, because this block is in the way. So that's kind of a bit of an issue that I've run into, where that's what I meant by an inverted. I'd like one that's flat with a beam there, so that you could do it that way. But I don't think there is one of those. And thus, I'm left with a bit of a pickle. There are a couple of ways I could do it. One is just to leave it the way that it is and kind of say phooey, which I may end up having to do. I'm not a big fan of that, but quite frankly, I really don't know of another solution. Other than, what block is this anyway? Other than to start a beam, because see, now I can place a beam. You could do it like this, but then again, that takes up one block. So when you go to place this one, now it won't work. So it's a bit of a frustrating situation there when you're trying to marry in different edges and forms, because it's like it just doesn't, it's just not very conducive to making a connected shape. It's like it wants to do more straight look, at least in my opinion. Again, this is me. I'm not some expert builder on this kind of stuff, so I don't know how to properly make these corner edges and things, because they never seem to end up working out for me. There are these rounded ones, but they're not... I need like a rounded one like that, but for a squared off edge is what I guess I'm really looking for. I mean, hold on. I might be able to make that work? No, that doesn't really do what I wanted it to do. It's close, but it's not really what I was looking for. I mean, you could do something like this to bevel off the edge, but that's not really what I was trying to do. I wonder if I could use one of these slopes. I wonder if those would work. I mean... See, that's what I'm saying, is it's like, if you can use these corners in different things, but they don't really do what I wanted it to do. It's like I actually need these to merge together in order to complete the shape, and it's not really working for me. It's kind of like it'll do one or the other, but it just won't ever do all that I'm trying to get it to do. And I'm trying to merge function over form, too. Like I said, I could have done it this way and had the curve be fine, but then internally, you can't put a wall here without taking away the ability to build on this block. So then you put the walls on the outside, but now you've got a corner edge that's trying to meet up to a different grid size and stuff, and it just kind of becomes a mess, basically. I'm not entirely sure, actually, hold on. Because see, like, this would be okay. Because you can do a beam here, and a beam there. And that works out fine. So maybe the problem lies in trying to merge the two with one edge. For example, wait a minute, hold on. Oh, this was to give the outer wall. That's what I was doing. Okay, so that's the outer wall. And then that's the inner wall for the bottom floor. Huh. Do I really need that, though? Oh. Yeah, kind of. Well, maybe not. Because that kind of makes up the floor for the next floor. Okay, hold on. So if I had those blocks there, I could actually do something a little different. Hold on. This is kind of that, maybe it won't do what I want it to do, but that doesn't mean that I can't make it do something close. So if I have a block there, right? You'd still need a beam on that edge. But that's not terrible for now. We can do that. And I see, this is the kind of stuff that I mean. I can't place a beam here because this one is technically in this block grid, which makes it's just kind of cumbersome. It's hard to deal with to get the right looks you were going for. Because one of the things I thought about was if I set this, I probably should be using wood actually, because it's easier to dismantle. So if I had a wall there and I got rid of this problem block, and no, it's still in the grid, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So that's still going to be a problem, because I was thinking I could do something like this. Oh, that won't work. Like this? Yeah, I was thinking of something like this. But, once again, if you do that, now I can't put a floor down because this is all within the same block of the grid. So, I'm having a bit of a difficult time kind of doing what I want to do and have it function properly. Like, I could build it and it would look fine, but then when you go to start building things and putting blocks inside your base, you'd run into a lot of spaces like this that are already occupied. For example, if you do it like this, if you do like this wall edge corner here, and you say, okay, that's the floor and that's the wall, well, like I said before, now you can't place anything on any of your outer edge walls. So it's kind of not really a great way to do it. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not a great way to build like a modular system. I just mean in terms of trying to make it look the way you want it to. It's a little cumbersome to try and work around. To get look and function at the same time is kind of a pain. Because if I put any blocks inside the space, so if any of these walls are on the inside of the square, then it becomes a problem. Now these, like I said before, these should be fine, because I can put a beam on the outer edge, and I can run a beam down that outer edge. The problem is I don't know how to go off of this one being that way and then merge it into the next one, and have it do the same thing. So, yeah, there's that. Because it's like this. If I left this awning here, this is fine. This will not be fine. My only real option at this point, I guess, is to sacrifice the inner edge here. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a moment. Ah, but that's the outer edge there. Dagnabbit. It just doesn't want to work. Because I was going to say I could put a beam running down this way, but it won't work either. Because the outer edge is over here. That's frustrating. It really is when you're like, I know what I want it to do, but it just refuses to work right. And so you kind of end up having to sacrifice a little bit of look just to get some extra spaces to build with. But unfortunately, with my limited block and resource count at the moment, I may not really have another alternative other than to, as I said, kind of sacrifice the form in favor of the function. Wait a minute. I did select that one. Why is it only covering... Oh, it will. Okay. So we could do that. And then we'll do... Nope. Where'd all my cement go? Oh, did I use it all? Pooh. Alright. I guess it's wood for now. Wood on cement, I mean, that makes sense, right? That's a thing. Now. Well, I could do... Would that help at all, I wonder? That's an interesting idea. I was thinking I could do... Well, no, because that will affect the floor of the next layer. Yep, it just doesn't want to work for me. Alright, so these actually need to be... like this. They need to be the awning piece. Or wait, do they? Yeah, I think they do. Okay. I think. We're gonna find out. Okay, and then if I put one there... This would effectively end up being... Oh, wait a minute. Did I do that wrong? Yeah, I did that wrong. Hold on. Because that isn't actually going to be the corner. Is it? No. Oh, and I have a bit of an issue here as well that... Can I get in here, please? Thank you. I have a bit of an issue in here as well that if I don't keep the floor a little bit higher... you'll see the constructor. I'm not really worried about that. It's fine. It's not like this. Oh, I can't even build there. Ugh, that could be a problem. I wasn't thinking about that, but it's not even letting me build in those squares. Well, that could be an issue in and of itself. See what I mean? I'm just having a lot of issues with building. Anytime you want to do something more than a box, it just kind of becomes a problem. What I probably should do is build everything in solid squares. Just because that would give you the best accurate depiction of where all the cube spaces are. And then actually go back and change the style of block later. Actually, can't you do that? Have I been changing... Reconstruct... Used for changing transparency of some windows and rotation of building blocks to small devices. Okay, so that's not... I can't actually change them to, like, full squares or anything, it doesn't look like. That's what I was wondering about. Alright. Alright, so... for now... Oops. Let's place those two there. Oops. Dang nabbit. I always do one more and then that costs me like 10 for repairing. So stupid. Okay. So that's that. That's there. So I actually need the wall to be out on this edge. I'm in the way. And at this point, I would need to add one of these, I think, right? Like that, I think. And then this should be a straight wall. And the rest of these will be straight. Like so. Is this one right? Yes, because I can build in here. This one is not. Or is it? Dag nabbit, I'm so floaty. You bounce off of everything. Okay, I think that will work. I do need to think about the walls out here, though, so let's try and frame in the bottom first. So we're going to put one... Nope. Dang nabbit. Okay. Let's try that again. One of these, I think, works there. That's going to be a corner. So I actually want this to be two singles, I think. I think that will work the best. We'll go ahead and place... Come on. Why are you... Is there something in this block already? Oh, it's this window. Yep, that's what it was. Okay. And then this would need to be a corner. Or wait. Is it a corner or is it two? Yeah, it's a corner piece. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Alright, so from this point... this needs to be on the outer... Okay. Fell off again, because I'm floating off of everything. I think it needs to come off of this edge. Pretty sure that looks right. So you'd actually need this. Oh, you know what? I could be using my drone too. I always forget about this thing. It's still, ooh, it's still super sensitive too. So you'd actually go around like this. Yeah, see, it's weird. It's like corners in this grid work fine. Actually, we're just going to keep going out here. I don't really care. Out to that point. Yeah, corners in the grid work okay. But when you're transitioning from one floor to another is where I'm finding it gets kind of problematic. Wasn't there a control for bringing it out? There we go. And that's fine that it can't figure out how to do that. I don't really need it to at this point. We'll bring this along here. And drop this down like so. Okay. Overall, not too shabby. Yeah, no empty space. Oh, we leveled up. Cool. so I have a hole here that needs to be filled. Everything else I think is internal at that point. I could do a beam there to fix that. And we can do some touch-up around there. That should be fine. Okay, so I think everything's mostly enclosed. I've just got to switch out some blocks here and there. Speaking of... Okay, let's do this. Whoops. One more. Like I said, the drone is nice, but it is really touchy. Okay. And I only want it to go out 2 for now because of that turn right there. And then this one we can do all in one. And then this one we can do all in one. Okay. So it's not the prettiest by any stretch of the imagination at all. But it is a bit more enclosed now. And there's still a few places that we need to go through and clean up a little bit. For example, all of this down here is exposed, which I don't like. But a lot of that, again, is the fact that these are like slant blocks and things and not just squares. So the cubes can fix that. This stuff is kind of no longer really needed because the entryway is blocked off anyway. So there's no real point in having a ramp there. This one is because that block's in the way. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that looks right. So I should be able... snap one of those right there. Where else? We'll leave this here for now. Still working on all this. Whew, I really wasn't sure if there was anything attached to that or not. We'll place that there. We'll leave that window. And I think windows actually have the same ability. Can you do... Yeah, you can do the vertical. So that's pretty cool. So we can keep the same shapes. How come it didn't put anything here? Did I just not do that, or did it not let me? I guess I just didn't do that. And, oh, I almost had... Oh, I do have more. Haha. It's like, oh, I almost had it. There we go. And for something like this, we can just snap a beam here. And that's kind of what I was talking about. That's what I wanted to do with the rest of the areas, but they just weren't really able to for some reason. So how's this look on the inside now? We got this area. This one comes overhead. I'm missing a square there, but that's all fine. I may end up sinking the constructor down to the ground and like moving this ventilator and stuff like that, and I may end up dropping it one so that I can finish the floor up here. I think that'll probably work out the best. I don't really need these stairs here. We may move those to one of the other areas that we took out. Okay. And then if we go up here... Now, all this will be fine for now, because I haven't done anything with it, but eventually we'll want to place things here. So, yeah, this is what I was meaning, though, in case anyone wasn't clear, that, you know, you can build on these, but I can't build on any of these because they're up too high. So... But yeah, so if any of you have any suggestions on kind of the proper way to build and how to connect to different floors and stuff like that, do let me know, because I'm always open to feedback and stuff, particularly because I am open about not being a crazy skilled builder person, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that can do a way better job at this. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, but I think that's going to do it for us for this episode, so we're going to wrap things up here. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Peace.